Hello, Eight of Cups family. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot. I am just doing a little bit of an energy channeling for the spring equinox, and then it's going to lead into a pick-a-pile reading to kind of predict what we're going to go through in the next few months. Now, there's a lot of things wrapped into this spring equinox, and it's really the most magical time of the year. I know I've been saying it for a lot of months. I think we've all been waiting for the reset. Now, most of us celebrate the new beginning on January 1st, our New Year's according to the American calendar. Not the American calendar, everybody's calendar. But the thing is, the astrological calendar starts on the spring equinox. So this really and truly is our new year. And I think it's pretty clear a lot of people are pretty anxious for the new beginnings. When are things going to open up again? When are we going to go back to normal? Are we going to go back to normal? When can we create the new? We've been in a place of limbo for so long, and yet we've had to sit in that place so that we could see things clearer and things about ourselves. Now, the spring equinox is really quite interesting because there's a balance of activating the feminine and the masculine within us, meaning they're both on a major reset. The way that we conquer the world, the things that we want, the things that we associate with, our social status, how we want other people to see us is changing. As well, within our creativity, the way that we want to nurture and protect, these things are changing as well. Now, there's no joke when we have all of this energy in air signs. I've been telling everybody that the next month is going to feel like it's hard to explain, but almost a quickening. Trust me, it will be the end of April and you will be saying to yourself, how did we get here? How did all of this happen so fast? So it's really important to be clear on the directions that you're going in. Now, taking a look at some of the aspects that are coming with this actual equinox, one of the big items is there's a conjunction between Mars and the North Node and the Moon. This is a big deal because the Moon is our emotions, how we will feel, our vibration for the collective. And when it's in Gemini, it could feel kind of scattered. It could make you feel anxious or like you don't have the time to emotionally process things. And it can bring an energy of having to make really quick decisions. So you might come up with a lot of situations within this next equinox, this next 3 months or so, where you have to make some pretty big decisions without a lot of time to think about it. Now, the thing is that North Node is kind of acting as if it's the beacon, the light, that thing that you want to move towards, that life that you want to create. And because Mars is there, there's a tremendous amount of motivation to take action. Now, Mars is going to get a little flustered soon as he enters Cancer. The tone is going to change, but right now the drive and the ambition is there. And by all means, all planets are moving direct. This is really, April is a major portal for change. You will see so many people making big life decisions, really adjusting their priorities, their vision, leaving jobs they've been at for a long time, changing their relationships in some way. And it could be pretty radical. Now, as we have all of this energy behind the moon, we have the sun making a conjunction with Venus. Also a very beautiful energy because this is really about seeing ourselves completely, seeing ourselves fully, maybe what will feel like for the first time because we are so different, because we've made all of these changes. And so the sun is going to force you to say, what do you identify with now? Who are you now? Are we going back to work, or are we still stay-at-home parents? Are we changing our careers in some way? What kind of relationships are we in? Have we been in toxic relationships and now we need some time to be single, to be free? Or vice versa. Have we been, so focused on career and now all of a sudden our heart is changing. We want to pay more attention to family, maybe have children, introduce, the idea of getting married into our lives. So all of these elements of change, all of these ideas are there. So one of the things that I keep getting, one of the messages that I get when I look at this energy is that saying about the pennies. If you watch the pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. This is a pretty apparent feeling. When we have Venus and the sun moving through Aries, there's definitely an emphasis of self. Who are you now? What's fair for you? What's good for you? What is the, where do you want to go? Who's with you? And Aries, coming out of all of this Pisces energy where we might have butted heads with resentment, where we feel like we're being taken for granted, even, in our bodies, we'll probably feel a little bit sluggish in the spring equinox. So embrace the revival, embrace the new energy that's being brought. And in the Gemini moon will make you feel like something big is coming, and that's probably because big things are coming. This conjunction with Mars and the North Node and the moon at the time of the spring equinox also triggers the eclipse that we went through on November 30th. So if you can, trek back to the time around the end of November, and actually because it's an eclipse, you can give or take a month. So kind of frame last fall and the things that you were going through at that time, and you could expect some of that stuff to get a real reset for spring. If you were going back and forth with moving or selling real estate or changing where you live, that might get really activated this spring. Maybe there were plans or what ifs or I wish I coulds, and they could really become concrete now, which is a wonderful feeling. But like I said about the pennies, we have to be really careful about our energy because we're in a place of self-worth. We're recognizing that our time and our energy is precious. And so it's not that we don't want to share or be with other people at this time, but the thing is, it can't be about other people at this time. And because Venus is starting a new cycle here, she's waking up, she's new, she's renewed, she's graduated, she's learned some pretty valuable lessons, maybe even some really karmic lessons. She's gotten herself out, or she's working to get herself out of some situations that really do not reflect who she truly is now. And it's so important to understand the pennies, the idea of the pennies, because it truly is wrapping around who you are and how you value yourself. Your time, your energy, your thoughts, these are all resources. It's not just about the pennies. And so we have to become really clear on what we are investing in. What are we spending our pennies on? And if you pay attention to the little things this month, the big things will correct themselves. And there's never been a truer statement than now. If you can grasp that concept of paying attention to the little things, the big things will take care of themselves. Now, I see that playing out in a lot of different ways in the collective, and I think one of them are the idea that you're going to have to take care of yourself now. When I see the formation of the planets, they're all kind of lined up in this bucket shape at one end of the chart, and it's what I like to call the holding. And it feels as though we are being offered an opportunity to hold ourselves. There's a lot of healing energy that we're dipping into this spring. Mars is going to make a conjunction, or I'm sorry, not Mars is in Gemini. Venus is going to make a conjunction with Chiron, and then she's going to come, and she's traveling with the sun. So there's an immense healing. And Chiron is making a sextile to the North Node at that point, so there's a revealing. There's a healing and a revealing of the new path. There can even be an element of new gifts or new skills coming in, maybe learning that you could do something you never realized you were good at, a new interest coming into your life, and certainly it is a time for really big opportunities to come in. The important thing is the nodes are still in that square to Neptune, so we've got to be able to trust ourselves, and we're really weary of trusting things right now. I mean, look at us as a collective. We're fighting because we don't trust each other. We don't trust the media. We don't trust the government. We don't trust so many things in our lives because we're being forced to trust ourselves. And this is where we come back to the holding of self. It's important to not follow blind faith. South Node is in Sagittarius. You can't just believe in everything you hear. Gemini has a need to actually see the evidence. It's about the truth. It's about the scientific data, and we have to really pay attention to that now, and especially in our own lives. You got to be really careful about identity theft. I know, you mean, look around. It's crazy. Everybody I know is going through issues with identity theft. The same thing, that same energy plays out in our lives with people. And you have to remember that people are getting desperate right now. There's definitely a switching up or a changing on the level of vibrations. There's a lot of people reaching tremendous emotional and soul growth. We're all ascending to another level. And some people are still stuck down. And it's hard to maintain relationships when one person is at one level of growth and the other one is stuck. So this is where things get a little bit hairy, and this is where Venus is going to direct you into a position of strengthening self and holding space. There is a very feminine magic that comes with the idea of holding space for others. It comes with the idea of not being judgmental, meaning we've really got to let the cancel culture go. And I feel like because this Pisces sun conjunction all at 29 degrees Pisces, which is really a placement of ultimate release. I apologize, guys, when I channel, my nose gets itchy. We're at a place of ultimate release, and we know that there's some stuff that has to go. We know that there's some emotional blocks we're still working through. Our vibration is up here, and so the contrast and the clarity, it's very clear what isn't working, what isn't feeling right, and it's going to really feel wrong in such a dramatic way. You might be in relationships with people and suddenly there's no attraction whatsoever. There's no wanting to work on things or improve the situations. You know, it's just kind of, you wake up feeling different. You wake up feeling not emotionally attached to it. And it's because the reinvestment in self. If something's not right for us, it's just not going to feel right now. The old habit, the invitation, the tricky energy with the moon square Neptune, that tricky energy is going to make us fall into old habits. And we have to be really cognizant of what those old habits are. Is it that we are easily manipulated? We allow others to make us feel guilty. We give away too much of our time and energy on others. We allow others to make us feel bad about ourselves. Sometimes we get people in our lives that make us feel like we have to dim our light, you know? And it's about stepping out of your comfort zone personally and showing the world who you are, and being able to kind of dictate what you deserve. Remember, we're moving up in ascension, meaning we're creating a new reality. Spring is all about planting the seeds, right? It's about planting the seeds for the garden. And ultimately, this is about, what do you want your garden to be? And because Venus is starting a new cycle at the new time, you can expect this to be a 9-month process. Now, we still have 9 more months of the Saturn-Uranus square, which is also going to help free us from situations that we don't really resonate with anymore. Again, we could get stuck. So be cognizant of where you get stuck. And one of my final messages this month, and this is kind of more of a channeling thing than anything, is because the moon is so heavily activated within this, and we're coming up on this really profound Libra full moon. It's really important to understand the idea of projection and attraction in your lives. If you are dealing with relationships, you're really hitting your head, you're really struggling, like there's a coworker that's really making you consider leaving your job. You could have a spouse or something and you're really going through like the worst of the worst power struggles, talking about breaking up, dividing of the things, like things can get pretty ugly. You could be in groups of friends or associations, and for God's sake, look at social media. It's definitely happening there. There's a crumbling of the old and a building of the new. But this time is different than all the other times, because as we begin to rebuild this time, we build foundations based on who we are, not what we want others to love us for, not what we want to be for other people. And it can't be about other people's expectations. It can't be about external circumstances. We can't base these new decisions and these new cycles on waiting for other people. Okay, there's no waiting. There's absolutely, things are moving so quickly now. We're going and holding space. We're not waiting for anybody. So it's important to understand that, but it's also important to understand what these relationships are and why you're going through the things that you're going through, because I can promise you there's tidbits of wisdom in all of it. If you have that coworker that makes you crazy because they're doing something, that particular thing that makes you nuts, maybe they're trying to micromanage, or they're showing you that they don't trust you in some way. Take a look at where you're playing those energies out in your life. Maybe that's happening to you at work, but you're doing that to a spouse. We are mirroring each other. We are projecting so much at this time with this moon energy. These are opportunities. These are real gifts to look at ourselves truthfully and honestly, and to call ourselves out. There's an element of figuring out our hypocrisy. We all have it. We're all guilty of it. And somewhere at some point in your life, you hold a level of hypocrisy. And sometimes that hypocrisy can create a wall of fear, right? You don't want to be found out. You don't want people to see you that way. And that hypocrisy builds and we become unauthentic. So we have to, in order to become our true authentic selves, we have to see our hypocrisy for what it is and invite it in to change it and forgive ourselves for it. Again, quick energy. You just have to acknowledge it, and most likely you can correct it really easily. All right, guys. So next thing up is the pick-a-pile readings. There's 3 stones that I picked. You'll be able to see me shuffle. You'll see the stones laid out. And you could also take a look at the thumbnail if you want to kind of hone in on the energy. There's always an opportunity to listen to all 3. Maybe some will resonate with you, some will resonate with other people. And then also pay attention to the numbers. Are you attracted to the number 1, 2, or 3? What do they symbolize to you? And what do they symbolize? Do they resonate with anything that you're going through in your life? So I do hope that you enjoy those readings and they bring you something that you can change your perspective and embrace the energy in the best way that you can for your soul growth, guys. It's going to be a really amazing spring. We're in for a really beautiful April, and I hope you guys enjoy the month. April readings will be out soon. I'm working on them now. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye. Okay, pile number 1. This is your reading for the spring equinox. So it's going to cover the next couple of months. And what I asked first is, what is the influence on this pile or this particular subject for the spring. And the first card out is Jupiter Return, card number 49, Benefits. So the influence for you, quite simply, is luck. There's probably an energy of expansion or growth. There's usually goals. Jupiter is very Sagittarius ruled. So I think of Jupiter and I immediately think of the archer. I think about the idea of kind of shooting an arrow. And I think that there might be some pretty big, hefty goals or expectations that we have of ourselves. Now, Jupiter return is also a lot about our judgment of self. You know, if you think of the energy of Jupiter, it rules law, it rules order, it's very cerebral, it's very adventurous, and it's eager to learn. And there could just be a lot of solid lessons that you move through in this spring equinox. Now, reminder that we are all in this place of creating the new, setting the new tone. Venus is starting a new cycle, and it's really about what fits you. It's Aries season, it's the I am. And the energy that you are in this month is that of the raccoon. Now, I like that because it is a creature of the night. It could indicate, especially because it comes out right above the Seven of Pentacles, that with the Jupiter return, the benefits, because Jupiter is with Saturn, traveling with the planet of discipline, of structure. Therefore, the things that we're doing now, the big hefty goals that we're setting, are pretty long term. They're pretty substantial. They're meaty things. And when Saturn is involved in anything, there is a tremendous amount of work. And for some reason, I'm picking up more of a sense of this nocturnal energy with the raccoon. I kind of get the sense that you are kind of working all hours. Maybe it's not a time of rest. How I say that because I look at these two cards, which is kind of talking about the energy that you're in prior to, the energy that you're stepping out of. And we've got the Hanged Man and the Seven of Wands. And the thing about it is, and I always say the spring equinox is kind of like this magical time. But it's also the energy that can kind of give you whiplash. Like Pisces season is really soft and chill, and we're kind of in our hearts, in our mind. You know, you find yourself listening to love songs and reading poetry or feeling rather nostalgic. You know, it could be all this array of soft, cozy feelings within us. And then Aries season comes, and it's almost as if you really need to be ready. And if you properly embraced the Pisces season, if you allowed yourself to chill, relax, step back, make sure that you're not attempting to control situations, you know, check your ego at the door in Pisces season. It's a time of acceptance and integration. It's a mutable sign. We go from mutable, from blending, from the merging with our atmosphere and our environment into Aries season, which is sort of like a sudden wildfire. Aries season can kind of sneak up on us, you know, like when you're in the middle of that super cool dream, and all of a sudden you wake up and you realize that you slept in for something really important, and you wake up and you jump out of bed and everything kind of just gets off to the races kind of feeling. And I'm feeling this severe jolt in your life. Maybe there was a slowing down period, and when that rolls to an end, which it will undoubtedly within this season, you have to switch from Pisces mode to that of the Emperor. And so I also think this raccoon card means you've got some tools and some tricks under your sleeve. Again, another interpretation of luck kind of being on your side. Now, maybe you have the ability to really exude the stamina that you need to kind of pull off whatever it is that you're trying to pull off. And I do feel like it is really related to finances, related to career goals, related to putting down a foundation. Maybe some of you are thinking about, purchasing a home, and the raccoon energy is that of somebody that can be up all night working hard, planning, and he's very strategic, right? Like, raccoons are almost human. They have almost these magical superpowers, like they have thumbs or something. They can just get into things. They're very smart and very intelligent, but they also wear a mask. And maybe there's a part of you that has been wearing this mask for quite some time. Maybe there's an interest or, a thing that you really like or that you're really into that not too many people know about. And raccoon can also operate in the dark, meaning you're doing a lot of things behind the scene. But there's action. There's definitely action. And just under the Emperor, we get card number 47, go the distance. Like, do you see the kind of switch between Jupiter return and beneficence and like all of this indulgence in these wonderful thoughts in our imagination? Pisces Jupiter energy is so magical, and we are really going to hone in on that in May as Jupiter actually enters the sign of Pisces. So I don't think that the dichotomy of this is going to go away anytime soon. You might find yourself kind of switching between these two modes, searching for a balance. Jupiter can also often represent needing balance. And I like that underneath the Hanged Man and the Seven of Wands, we have this take time to breathe out, disseminating moon. Which means there was a time, or there will be times throughout the month, where you have to let go of things. You have to kind of shrink your psychic circle. Now, that means you have to get protective about your energy. You see this woman is kind of over here in the bubble. She's got a good perspective on things. She's rising above it. She could see things for what they are when you slow down. When you slow down and you don't try to control it and you go with the flow. And yet you are aware and open to suggestions and adjustments. That's always my 7 energy. And you have 7 here and you have 7 here, which tells me that you are going to make the right moves instinctively when it comes to whatever work project or purchase or something that you've got going on here as far as your finances. There will be strategy. And you could believe that your instincts are going to serve you well because we have the Emperor and go the distance. Now remember I said that Aries season, Venus moving into Aries, Mercury moving into Aries, we're stepping into the I am season, which means we're placing ourselves before other people this month. This is when we start to realize all those dreams that we had in Pisces season, our imagination getting the best of us. Well, I really wish I could do this. I really wish I had more time to do that. Aries season is like, boom, let's do it. And believe me when I tell you, if it is something that drives you closer to your fate and destiny, which I see with this 9 of Cups and the outcome card, what I see here is that there are blessings. There are blessings for your hard work. And it wasn't even the physical work that you did. It was the self-examination. It was the enlightening period that you went through. It was when you dropped your ego and you could see and get the clarity that you need in order to follow your instinct. And this is a promise of growth, and this is a promise of a positive outcome. So if you asked a yes or no question, the answer is undoubtedly yes. Whatever it is that you're working for will and is obtainable. But here's the thing, and there's always a trick. There's always a darkness. And you'll see this as Sun is forming a trine to Pluto around this time, illuminating kind of our deeper fears, illuminating some of our blocks, and really getting to the bottom of things. Super productive. And then underneath the Seven of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups, we have this card of despair. I'm noticing kind of the blue moving into the greener tones. There's a theme of blue and green, so I'm feeling a heart opening as well as a throat chakra opening, which means you will find the strength to express your inner feelings, the things that you've discovered about yourself, the things that you've discovered you've always wanted. You will be able to strategize and make a plan. You will be able to express your wants and your needs. You'll be able to ask for favors if you need them. And Jupiter does suggest that you will have support, maybe even in places you didn't truly expect. And so with all of this positiveness, I am wondering why we are here at this card of despair. And the card says, I need your divine intercession right now. O Great Spirit, lift this darkness from my soul. Free me from this burden. Open me to your highest plan. May I be a peaceful vessel for your true love. And so again, the Seven of Pentacles with this card of despair, I feel like this is the thing that you've been working on. This is the thing you've been doing in the nighttime or not, in a way that not too many people know about it. And I feel like you come out bursting, like there's something you learn in order for you to share. I see that with the Nine of Cups. There is an overwhelming abundance of information, of belief in fate, in trusting the universe. And it took work, right? You didn't come from the best place. The Hangman never does. The Hangman is often a place that we are at when there is nowhere else to go. When you don't know where you're going, and especially if it comes from a place of other people. I get a sense that you've been hung up or in waiting or in a period of pause due to external circumstances, things that were out of your control to begin with. And therefore, all you could do is kind of breathe and get through and heal yourself so that you can take action when the time is right. And undoubtedly, the time will be right within the next few months. And the projects and the things that you're working on, or the work that you're putting into yourself, maybe the things that you've been kind of doing in secret, there's a freedom. The work you do will pay off. And again, with that Jupiter, that arrow going through the air, going great distances, for some of you, this definitely could mean that dream vacation, that spiritual journey, that ultimate bucket list thing. Now it's time to make these dreams serious. Take these things, your heart, your soul, seriously. Start taking steps in that direction. And your motivation and your drive and your ambition will carry you to the next level of success. And if you have to deal with some shadow stuff, it's a great time to do the work. The seeds you're planting have to come from a place of love. And the seeds you're planting are coming from a place of wanting a peaceful landing, wanting a soft landing, wanting a good experience, wanting to change things and turn them around with all the wisdom and all of the things that you have learned. I don't know. I get the feeling that you're kind of the underdog this month. The underdog, and you're going to come out swinging for sure. All right. Awesome reading. Thanks, guys. Hello. Pile number 2. I love this reading. I love so much about all of these cards that came out, and I actually am really excited. It all makes so much sense with this particular stone that was chosen. There's just a feeling of immense grounding happening. And with the Pluto card, transformation, card number 11, first card out, this is your influence for the spring equinox. And that's a pretty powerful card to come out as your influence. Pluto doesn't influence anything. Pluto is always in control. It is the planet that shows you just how little control you have. And Pluto's going to point some stuff out. He's going to bring some stuff up. Sometimes it feels like there is loss involved with Pluto. Sometimes it feels like we are really taken to this deep, immense emotional place. Like that place that you never really ever want to go. You know, Pluto rules sewers. He rules plumbing. He rules the things that are kind of laying underneath in the dark, the shadow side. But it is in the shadow side that our instinct and our survival and our ability to transmute comes from. And that's what I see. I see this powerful transformation in you. Now you are the energy of the camel. And there's something super wise about the camel, and there's something so independent about the camel. And the camel, again, is a significant symbol of survival, right? They store all of this energy. They store all of this. They store the water within them, and they can go tremendous amounts of time without nourishment. And I feel as though you have gone tremendous amounts of time without nourishment. And this might be a time when you're starting to really look at things for what they are. I'm looking at these cards, and this is kind of a very traditional, normal, you know, what everybody does when you go through a breakup kind of thing. You've got a Page of Swords and the Three of Swords. Page of Wands is just full of wonder and curiosity, and it doesn't really care about consequences. And then he can be impulsive, and he could be foolish, and he could be very naive. Sometimes he has a habit of following what he wants in a moment and not really focusing on long-term stuff. Certainly wouldn't call him mature or responsible. And maybe you have gone through a phase in your life or a pattern in your life in which this is the energy that you've approached things. Maybe in love, maybe in your career, maybe in finances, but it was kind of just doing whatever you felt like doing. Not really, you know, it could be an energy of no commitment, but it could also be an energy of just believing that there's commitment where you know there wasn't any. And I see this Page of Wands, and I see this Three Swords, and the Three of Swords is kind of the inevitability, right? Like if you go at something that you want with no plan, with no strategy, not really knowing what to do, probably feeling a little bit underqualified, or, you know. And the thing is, it feels as though there's an acceptance of how you kind of broke your own heart. Don't let your past hold you back. South Node Pluto. We had this transit actually not that long ago, maybe within the past year. This was all kind of clumped together with the conjunction in January of 2020, and this was some pretty hefty, heavy energy. And the thing is, a Page of Wands is very easily manipulated. Like I said, there's a naive energy. Kind of just believing in love, just believing in fate, just believing it'll all work out. And the Three of Swords is the consequences. Things will come to the surface. But they're not little things. I mean, if they have the power to transform your life, they're probably not the little things. The Seven of Swords, middle of the reading. Is there an area of your life where you've been so open, so starry-eyed, and easily misled? And chances are there's going to come a time when you're going to realize that this has to go. You can't continue to be in this pattern. And when I see a South Node, there's a pattern. And patterns deep within us. Pattern is deeply rooted. We attract what we feel within. Pluto can bring up some not so good stuff. Pluto could be about power struggles with other people and how we give our power away. And if we give so easily of ourselves, we give so freely. And the Page of Wands, by the way, asks so little. Page of Wands just simply wants to be happy. He doesn't have a lot of solid needs. Like, he doesn't need all the money. He doesn't need the leadership. He doesn't, need to conquer anything. He just wants to experience things and be happy. And there's nothing wrong with that side of you. It serves you. That is a piece of your personality. But Pluto comes along and he says, well, that doesn't mean that you have to be a victim. Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, that is a victim. That is victim mentality. That is the belief that all relationships, all people behave in this way. All people will disappoint me. Like I said with that camel, feels as though there's been a long time without a real emotional connection. Kind of a real dry spell when I see the camel there. And I think that's changing. I think there is undoubtedly change that's on its way. The change has to kind of occur within you. And I mean, you can't deny the fact, the Three of Swords, Seven of Swords, and right here we have this card, Not For You, card number 6. Trust me when I tell you that the 6 cards always hold an element of destiny, and they hold an element of divine intervention. Maybe you're putting a lot of faith in something that doesn't have a solid foundation. Maybe you're going to find out about it. And in the finding out about it, in the finding out that you kind of believed in the wrong thing or believed in the wrong person, put a lot of time and energy into the wrong thing. Seven of Swords. I love this bird. His mouth is kind of wide open. Like the universe is talking to you. Maybe you've been avoiding your intuition. Maybe you haven't been listening. The universe is certainly talking. And maybe the truth of the matter is you were never listening. Maybe you were never properly expressing your needs. Maybe you were just not asking enough. Seven of Swords, victim. Victim mentality. Feeling like somebody took from you. Maybe there's almost a sense of feeling like somebody kind of stole a little bit of innocence from you. Stole your heart, stole your creativity, the pieces of you, your happiness that lies within that Page of Wands, almost like somebody hurt you in such a way that it stole your magic. That sounds weird, but it's true. And with Pluto here and 6 here, there's definitely a hard lesson about what you are willing to give of yourself again. And it's clear that the lesson is taken. It's taken seriously. I think you understand that regardless of how hard it is or how disappointing it is, card number 6, not for you, it is leaving your life. Now, however you cooperate with that is up to you. You could speed up the process, you could drag your feet, you could get stuck in a place of really overthinking, over-processing the situation, the camel, withholding feelings, not allowing yourself to feel the loss. Not actually doing that thing where you forgive yourself for the situation that you put yourself in, for not believing in yourself or putting yourself first. Venus in Aries is going to make us look at that stuff. And if there are relationships that were not reciprocal, if there were relationships that made you feel resentful for what you gave, I also get a vibe of 6 of Pentacles with this card number 6. I give and I give and I give of myself because I believe in love, and every time I get stabbed in the back or I get lied to or I get abandoned. Victim mentality. And the 4 of Pentacles is the feeling of being stuck. I'm stuck and I'm not going to give anymore. The camel. I'm going to starve myself the nourishment and the emotion of love because I allowed somebody to steal my magic. But here's the thing. That sounds like a horrible scenario, and we've all been there before, right? We've all been in that energy. The 4 of Pentacles can be a great time to kind of reset. Pull yourself back in. Pull your energy back in. I'm going to start doing stuff for me. My time is my resource. My energy is my resource. And the 4 of Pentacles is where we pull it all back in. If you have people in your life that are using you for money, stop. Close the purse. If you have people in your life that take, and they don't do a whole lot of giving, people in your life that call you up and they're like, oh my God, listen to this, listen to what happened, blah, 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 and they never ask, how are you doing? Yeah. It's time to readjust. 7 of Swords. Anytime a 7 comes out in a reading, and they will with the spring equinox, believe me, they will. We're in a time of adjustments. But it means that you have the time to make the adjustment before the disaster occurs. Notice there is no tower moment. I just feel like this is now something that's been there, done that. You're learning the lesson, you're moving on, and you're readjusting your energy, and you're going to nourish yourself. And this camel could be simply a timeout from the emotional stuff, a timeout from the love stuff, right? It's time to invest in self. And this 4 of Pentacles flows so beautifully into this 8 of Pentacles, which is that of alchemy, of that of growth, which means we transmute that energy and that heartache into something substantial and something that probably we make money off of. It's an investment. You're growing. This is a planting of the seeds. This is the emerging of the leaves. There is definite growth. There always will be with the things that we start during the equinox. And the Pluto means that you're taking your power back. You're not giving it to people that take. You're not giving it to people that emotionally or psychologically manipulate you into, giving them the time and energy. You pull that back in and you create magic. And I think you're okay. I think you're at peace in this camel energy. I'm going to take a break. And it's going to be about me now. I have enough to nourish myself. And I love this card down here underneath these 4 of Pentacles and this 8 of Pentacles. Health. Allow me, divine, to be tender and accepting of my body, no matter what ailments I may have. May I always know it's doing the best that it can. Help me be loving ally and friend to this sacred form. And I think this is really about realizing how sacred you are. How critical your time and energy and finances are. It's a time to pull back. It's a time to care for yourself, to make sure that you are nourishing yourself. I'm not, it's kind of weird. It's kind of more intuitive than anything else, this message that there's healing that has to be done actually within your physical body. And I think you are starting to realize the actual physical toll that these situations have taken on you. Now, there could be a period of time where you actually do focus on transforming your body or focus on transforming your physical health. Undoubtedly, there's a work of self, which tells me that you're falling in love with yourself. I always say that, and I know it sounds cheesy, but we all have those moments where we got to pull it back and be like, oh, now I got to do this for me, Like, you can't do things for other people. Everybody knows that if you're dealing with somebody with an addiction or you're dealing with somebody with other, issues where changes have to be made, those changes can't be made because of an outside source. Because then if things don't work out, you build resentment. And you can build resentment with yourself too. So I think it's just a really important time to invest in yourself. Invest in your education. Invest in your career. Work hard. Focus your energy. What you focus on is going to be what brings you the greatest benefits. And Pluto can put such an intense attraction into your life that it can actually attract a tremendous amount of wealth. If you could tap into that power and that energy, and if you could face this 7 of Swords, these characters that are probably pretty repetitive, like I said, South Node, you do not have to repeat these cycles anymore. Pluto has transformed it. And therefore you could recognize it. You could smell it a mile away. If there's a narcissist within the area, I feel like you could sniff that out. And you start to honor yourself. And you may, in the honoring of self, actually start to see very physical changes for you. Physical improvements. If you have energy vampires or you're not protecting your boundaries from certain other energies, you realize you get drained. You feel like you have the flu. You just don't feel up to par. You're not, excited about life. And when you focus your energy on self, there's a renewal of vitality. You are refilling your reserves with this camel. And there's such a sense of independence and strength. And if there was any inkling towards codependent relationships of any kind, that's probably what you've worked through. And those things aren't easy. So you deserve the growth. And I think you're going to make the best of it. I think you're going to really like the way that you feel coming out of this spring. And I think you're in for a pretty positive and amazing summer. That's really what it looks like. So take a minute to be grateful for this experience. Be grateful for the clarity of it. Be grateful that this is kind of the, I don't know, I feel like it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. How funny. This might be the final go around with these types of characters before you really have the strength and the determination to fix it once and for all by fixing that thing inside of you that's attracting it. Wow, it's really magical. I love that. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. What a beautiful reading. These are just like, I'm so glad I did this. I'm having so much fun. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of gushing. That's how I feel over here. I feel as soon as I started to unfold these cards, you know how you get that smile on your face and like you're so aware of it and you can feel it like in your cheeks, and yet you can't stop. And if I had any control over life whatsoever, I would like to sit in this energy for as long as possible. So first card out, what is your energy or your influence this month? And you've got the 5th house creativity card, number 29. I love it. I love it because it goes so perfectly with this Carnelian stone, which is literally my favorite stone I've ever owned. I love it, love it. I don't have a lot of fire in my chart. I'm a lot of earth and water. So I'm very drawn, and my North Node is in Leo, it's in fire. I'm very drawn to the fiery energy. I need it, okay? I love these two energies coming together because a creative place, that 5th house, your influence is like those kind of spur of the moment ideas. And I think it's really important to be open to your weird ideas this spring, okay? Like, all of the sudden in the middle of the day, you just get the urge to go to the zoo, go to the zoo. If all of a sudden out of nowhere you decide to paint or do some kind of a home repair project, do it. Like, follow your instinct, don't question it. If you feel like writing a poem, write a poem. If you feel like doing videos or starting that project, do it. The 5th house is not just a house of creativity, it's a house of taking risks. And these first 3 cards, 5th house, Carnelian stone, and firefly, all talking about the courage and the risk. And I don't think that you realize, you know, like this kind of feels every bit of that April showers brings May flowers. Because starting over here on the left, we've got the 5 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, with the emotions are running high, supermoon. 5th house, we're probably talking about love. We're probably talking about relationships. We have a 2 of Cups here, so 4 of Wands. Let's not pretend it's anything else. I mean, yes, it can be a creative project. Let's keep the spin on it. But look, we're talking about something that's probably very fated and something that you truly want and desire. And maybe in the recent past, you've been focusing on the lack thereof. Five of Pentacles is that lack mentality. It's the feeling of being ostracized, left out, not having enough. It's where we meet that fear of, oh my God, what if nobody wants me? Oh my God, what if I can't pay the bills? Oh my God, you know. And there's a victim feeling that comes from the Five of Pentacles. Now, I am certainly not here to tell you that you don't have a right to feel like a victim. Sometimes life is fair and it's not fair and it sucks. And you have every right to be in this Five of Pentacles place. You have every right to feel that way. And it's important that you validate it, because if you try to avoid it, it has a way of sitting. It has a way of always kind of being that elephant in the room. And when you carry that Five of Pentacles mentality with you, anytime you look at a spur of the moment idea, an impulsive kind of thing, you're like, no, those things never work out for me. In other words, the Five of Pentacles is kind of the opposite of creativity. Five of Pentacles is like the, no, I can't do that, I don't have enough money. No, I can't do that, what would people think of me? And the fifth house is like, no, go up and sing that crazy karaoke song. You're going to have a blast. It doesn't matter what anybody thinks. But the thing about this Five of Pentacles is that clearly you are leaving it behind. The Ten of Wands. This woman is leaving behind an old way of life, that place within you where you dim your light. Like she's sitting in a very dark room, in a dark place. Where are you dimming your light? Where are you not sharing your creativity with the world? Those places in your mind of doubt, fear of abandonment, fear of rejection. And you want to leave it behind. You have every intention of leaving it behind. And if this Five of Pentacles represents a relationship that makes you dim your light, if this reflects who you are within a connection, you're out of there. Ten of Wands, you don't even want it. You're not even attracted to it. Which tells me you're raising your vibration, but yet this Ten of Wands is carrying an awful lot of luggage. It's a lot of baggage. It's heavy. And emotions are running high, meaning there could be that moment of real self-doubt, like, oh my God, I can't do this. And seriously, like, this, for example, you can meet somebody great and they're like, hey, do you want to grab a cup of coffee? And you're like, yeah, all right, we'll meet up in a couple days. And then it gets closer and closer and closer, and you're talking yourself out of this situation. You're like, no, it's silly, I don't want to waste my time, I don't want to date anybody right now, like blah, 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 all the reasons why you shouldn't. And I think that you might still go, but you're carrying all of this baggage or this negative attitude, like, oh, yeah, all right, let me just get this over with, you know? And that, along with the emotions are running high, tells me that you're probably going to be triggered. Like there's going to be things that trigger this energy. I was just talking about the Pisces energy, and I always, Taylor Swift is kind of the quintessential example of Mercury in Pisces. And we're going through Mercury in Pisces. There is a place that she comes from, that pain, that really creates some really beautiful things. And I see you having the opportunity to create some really beautiful things from the maybe not so great experiences. And there's almost a sense that you're taking what you need from it. I'm going to take what I need from that experience. I'm going to take the wisdom. I'm going to take the lessons. but I'm still going to walk away. Right here, center of your cards, Knight of Pentacles. Right underneath this card, why? The Knight of Pentacles is somebody that can get stuck. He doesn't move very quickly. Plans everything out. He has an agenda. He has a checklist. He's fully prepared for anything that he's doing. It is with careful, slow energy. And I think that when the new stuff comes in, you're going to want to take it real slow. You know, because you're still carrying all this baggage. And I don't know if the energy that's coming at you this month is going to feel the same way. And this energy can be vice versa. So if you're coming into something and you're feeling like you want it to take off, and then there's another energy or somebody that, you know, you might be connected with that seems to want to really take this slow, you know, the point is these energies are going to merge. And we have a Knight of Pentacles and we have a Firefly. So we have a Knight of Pentacles, slow moving energy, and the Firefly that's just kind of flittering everywhere with its light. The Firefly kind of lights something up within you. It's a sign of enlightenment. It's a sign of new ideas. Like I said, those spur of the moments, like you could just be in the right place at the right time if you follow your instincts. If you go to a different coffee shop or, you know, just do that weird thing. And I think the danger of the month is if you allow yourself to stay safe, if you allow yourself to play it safe. It's just not a time to play it safe because really big things are happening for you. And I do have to tell you, and I wouldn't typically give this advice, but if you're invited to like gamble or do something like that this month, even if that's something that you feel is reckless or something that you would never do, yeah, for sure. There's a lot about the idea of being reckless. And I think spring is going to allow you to get a little bit reckless. I love it. It feels like so much fun. And I think when you're in that vibration, things come together and they work out beautifully. And they're asking you to really take a look at this tendency, this Knight of Pentacles. Why? Card number 31. Check your ego, check your instincts. What makes you feel this way? You have to break through this barrier this month. And the Two of Cups is all about acceptance. For some of you, you're going to meet somebody new. And they're going to come into your world like nothing else, like no one else. And they're going to shake you up and they're going to show you how to really enjoy life. And my advice to you is do it. Enjoy it. Don't ask so many questions like, where is this going? You know, where are we? It's not going to be all about the foundations. The magic is going to occur when you're having fun, when you're just letting yourself love, when it doesn't matter what's going to happen tomorrow or next week or next month. It doesn't matter how you're going to make it work. Oh my God, maybe some of you are traveling and you're going to meet somebody on vacation and fall madly in love. And like, you know, you have to figure out that whole thing, right? Like, do I really want a long distance relationship? I don't know. But what I do know is I wouldn't want to pass this opportunity up. What I do know is I would totally regret missing out on the things I don't know are coming. This Two of Cups and this Four of Wands is like the greatest energy ever. Some of you will be taking the risk, believing in yourself in some way. integrating the ideas and putting them out there and sharing them with the world. Two of Cups. If this is a business, Firefly means you're ready to launch. And if you find yourself hesitating, you have to seriously question yourself. Because the good things are coming. The foundations are strong. The Four of Wands is a card, super social. It's like it's a card of weddings. It's a card of proposals. It's a card of celebrating and being together with the people that you love. And the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands with this Firefly comes out right underneath this card. Contentment. You can learn to rest in what you already have and already are. Suddenly you remember, I'm right here resting in God. And this is the good stuff, okay? It's about being in the moment, allowing yourself to be in the moment, allowing things to grow organically, allowing yourself to not have the plan this month. Follow that feeling of creativity and fun. There's definitely a path opening. There's a trail. There's a path opening for you for sure. And if you start walking in a different direction, right here, why are you doing it? You have to be honest with yourself. You might have to give yourself a little bit of a kick in the ass. You might have to listen to some motivational YouTube videos and just put yourself out there. I think the hard work this month, the only hard work you should be doing is resisting this. Okay? Eat the cake. Wear the perfume. Buy the shoes. Don't go overboard. Don't marry a complete stranger and don't give away your money. Don't gamble the house. But allow yourself to dip your feet in and see what this is all about. Don't talk yourself out of anything this month. Oh, it feels so magical. I love it. I kind of want to that's really all there is. And yet I want to stay here. All right, guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this reading for you. I'm going to leave it there. And I will be talking to you soon. Lots of love. Bye.